Okay, we've been in life groups for several weeks now, so it's time to get real and honest with each other, vulnerable even. I want you to raise your hand if you have ever purchased something through a TV infomercial. Or maybe it was over at Menards where they have that section of the store called As Seen on TV. Anyone? Look around the room. Notice the hands that are up. I'll give you time later to pick on each other about what those products were that you tried. We've all seen many of those infomercials that tried to sell us something, and more than likely, we have all either said or thought the words, "That's too good to be true." I remember back when I was a kid, trying to talk my mom into getting one of these.
In Japan, the hand can be used like a knife. But this method doesn't work with a tomato. That's why we use the Ginsu. It's a knife that no kitchen should be without. The Ginsu can cut a slice of bread so thin you can almost see through it. It cuts meat better than an electric knife and goes through frozen food as though it were melted butter. The Ginsu is so sharp it can cut through a tin can and still slice a tomato like this. It can chop wood and still remain razor sharp. What's more, it's a knife that will last forever. How much would you pay for a knife like this? Before you answer, listen. It even comes with a matching fork to make carving a pleasure. Wait, there's much, much more. We also want you to have this 6-in-1 kitchen tool. It peels and slivers carrots, peels potatoes, and slices paper-thin potato chips. This amazing little knife even grates carrots, grates cheese, and makes beautiful decorative vegetables. How much would you pay for all these items?
Ginsu knives. Isn't that amazing that these knives have always been made in America? It's true. They did the ad campaign to make us think that we were getting knives as sharp and strong as a samurai sword from Japan. It was a pretty smart campaign. And yes, when my mom looked at the ad, she literally said the line, "Looks too good to be true." And we did not purchase any. For some of you, maybe those same thoughts come to mind when you read some of those amazing stories that we find all throughout the Bible. Those stories where God shows up and does something truly miraculous. We read those stories, and yes, we sometimes wonder, did that really happen? Was it too good to be true? For these next 3 weeks leading up to Easter, just like in worship, we're going to look into some of those miraculous stories and see how they might challenge us in our faith. We're going to read them together and then discuss them. I love today's story. We find ourselves in the book of Joshua, chapters 3 and 4 today. Moses just recently died. Joshua is now in charge of leading the Israelites. He's taking them into the promised land. The big city of Jericho is on the other side of the Jordan River, and they need to get across the river to get there. But it's the spring rainy season when the river is at its highest point. How in the world will they get across? As you read the story, notice the steps of faith that they each need to take. Could you take these steps if you were in their shoes? Pause the video, read the first part of the story found in chapter 3, and answer those first couple of questions, and then come back for a little bit more. Joshua had been with Moses and the Israelites from the very beginning of the Moses Exodus story. We had seen God do some amazing things. From all the plagues to the crossing of the Red Sea, the manna and the quail, the water coming from a rock. Joshua had seen a lot. But Moses was gone now. Most of the other people who had seen all of those miraculous things which God did had died during the last 40 years in the desert. Most of the adults in the story now were simply relying on the stories that they had heard about God doing amazing things. It's kind of like us, isn't it? We didn't see all of those amazing stories firsthand. We only have what's written in this book. But God is still calling us to live by faith, just as he was calling the Israelites in our story to live by faith. The coolest thing about God is how he helps the Israelites live by faith by helping them remember these moments when God did these miraculous things on their behalf. In just a moment, I would love you to read just a little bit more of the story. Read the first 7 verses of chapter 4, where you will see God call Joshua and the Israelites to make a memorial. This memorial was going to be so important for the people moving forward. Why? Well, let me ask you this. Imagine you face one of those tough days in life when something hard comes your way. Could be anything. A relationship issue, a health issue in your family, financial problems, temptation to sin, you name it. We could face it. When you have had that day in life, when life gets hard, wouldn't it be good to have something that can remind you that God is still good and God is still faithful? God doesn't want us to live by faith only when life is easy. He doesn't want us to follow him only when life is good. He wants us to live by faith all the time, because that's the blessed life. So if we can remember his goodness and his faithfulness every day in whatever way we can, no matter whether it's in a Bible verse that we write on the wall of your home, or maybe a great worship song that you listen to in the truck, or even a pile of rocks. The same faithful, good God who provided dry ground for the people to walk through is the same faithful, good God who will show up in our lives each and every day, and especially on those hard days. The question is, will we remember to acknowledge that he is with us and for us? Okay, read those few verses and then talk through those other questions, and I will see you on Sunday.